Hey, running friends. Welcome to the Wrinkled Runner podcast. I'm Sherry, the Wrinkled Runner. I'm over 50 and I love to run wherever I go, but Buffalo, New York is my home. If you are looking to start to run or you're an older runner, this podcast is especially for you, so subscribe now. I love to help people get running and keep running. You can do this. You got this. Go, go, go. Running mantras are what I'm talking about on the Wrinkled Runner podcast today. I never really thought about a mantra until a couple of years ago I read the book Mindful Running by Mackenzie Harvey. I'll link to my reviews of the book because I found it really interesting and gave me a lot to think about with my running, which is beyond, just the physical part of it. In the book, she talked about using a mantra, a word or a phrase that is yours, something that will motivate you to get through the tough times. Some of you may even have one and don't realize it. Think about when you're having a tough run. Do you say something to yourself to get through it? Is it the same thing a lot of the times? I tend to say, you can do this to myself. A lot of runners give themselves this positive reinforcement. It can be especially helpful if you are the type of person that talks negatively to yourself. And I did that for years. I'm better now, but boy, I was like my own worst bully. So having some positive words that you mindfully say to yourself that you've chosen for that purpose can scoop you out of that negativity, which will only make that run more stressful and miserable if you're talking down to yourself. There are articles that you can find on the web that will give you a list of words or phrases to try. Just don't pick something that you wouldn't normally say, but if you want to look at a list, you can, and maybe something will stand out to you. Because running is mental, we can pull ourselves out of a bad run or at least feel better about it and keep trying, or we can make it much worse and feel like we're not real runners, we should just quit, or just go eat a whole pizza with a donut on top. Which, if that's your thing, I mean, you do you, but I would be pretty sick if I got so depressed I ended up doing that. After my first marathon, which was held at the end of May that year, I hopped into half marathon training to try and break the 2-hour half for a race in September. Because of this goal, I had things I had to do to get me ready, and I didn't allow my body to recover like I should have. And I know I should do better, and I do know better, and now I do better because I know more than I did back then. But you know how that can go. Just don't do as I do. And if you run a half or full marathon, take some time off of running to recover. Anyway, that being said, I was definitely feeling like junk. My runs were slow and hard, and they were hard, and they were hard. And I would start to feel okay, and then I'd look down at my watch and think, oh, I'm finally feeling better. My legs are finally wanting to run again. And then I would see my pace, and it was really, really slow and slower than anything that I had run in like a year. My legs hurt, my motivation was down, and running just sucked. The negativity that was coming out of my mouth during those runs were things I would never say to anyone. So why am I not kind to myself? I said I should quit, that I was a terrible runner, I would never reach my goals, I would never PR, and I was embarrassing. Now, I don't know how I was embarrassing because I was running around Buffalo by myself, but I was convinced that I was embarrassing. Having a mantra during those runs probably would have helped get me out of that thinking. If you can pull yourself away from that cliff by starting to speak your positive words, you will absolutely have a better run. Try to get away from that negative thinking. Stop talking badly to yourself. And if it takes something mindful, like having a phrase that when that starts to happen to you, you instead start saying the same, go, 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 or you can do this over and over again, then go ahead and do that and start being kind to yourself. Now, what I'm not saying is that you can just say a word or say a phrase and that it's magic and you're going to be able to run through an injury or, you're not going to develop heat exhaustion on a hot run and you can just speak your way to a great run. Make sure you're being smart about it. Use it to get through a tough run, but a run that you are physically capable of doing and finishing. Try out different positive words or phrases and just see what you think. Head over to my Facebook page and answer the question, what is your mantra? If you don't see it because you're joining us at a later date, I'll keep the post up and you can just search for it and answer it anyway. Today's website for runners is over on marathontrainingacademy.com and it's mantras, which it lists for you some running mantras that you may want to try out for yourself. Next week, I'll be talking about using a running coach and what we can do for you, even if you are a beginner. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you know another runner who could benefit from today's topic, go ahead and share it. Do you have any running questions? You can ask me. Email me at sherry@wrinkledrunner.com, and if I can't answer your question, I will do the research to find the answer and share it with you. The questions I get from listeners like you help me develop episodes, so please don't be shy. You can sign up for my once-a-month newsletter using the link provided so that you can have all the Wrinkled Runner resources from the past month all in one place. I also have opened up my virtual coaching in addition to coaching one-on-one with those in the Buffalo, New York area. So head to my coaching page on the Wrinkled Runner website, which I will, of course, link to, and check out how we may be able to work together. Until next Monday, thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the run.